Good morning students. In this video we are going to discuss about the different modes of communications used in digital communication. What are the objectives? So the objective of today's lecture is to study different modes of communication used in digital communication. In this we are going to discuss about the different modes and their usage. What is the definition of mode of communication? Mode of communication is nothing but it is a mode by which we are transferring the data between the two devices. Classification of a mode of communication. So mode of communications are broadly classified into three categories. First classification is based on the transmission mode, second one is based on the data transfer, and the third one is based on the timing synchronization. So these three are the categories of mode of communication. So let's begin with the first one. First category is a transmission mode. So based on whether the system communicated on only one direction or otherwise, the communication mode are as indicated in the following figure. So based on that, we are having three types of transmission mode. First one is a simplex mode, second one is a half duplex, and third one is a full duplex. In a simplex mode, the data is transferred in only one direction. Means here your transmitter is transmitting the signal and receiver is only receiving the signal. The example of a simplex is the radio or a television. Second type of mode is a half duplex. In half duplex, your transmitter and receiver act as a transceiver based on the condition, but they will act either as a transmitter or as a receiver. So here an example is given. We are having a two workstation. From workstation 1 the data is transferred to the second, and from second the data is transferred to the first. But if your first workstation act as a transmitter, at the same time it will not act as a receiver. It will act as a transmitter or as a receiver, and the same is applicable to the second workstation. Its example is a walkie-talkie used by the police. Third one is a full duplex communication. In full duplex communication, your workstation act as a transmitter as well as a receiver at the same time. The example of this is a telephone. So here one example is given where you are having a two workstation, and both data, the direction of data all the time, means at the same time we can transfer the data from first workstation to the second, and we will receive the data from the second workstation to the first one. So these three are the first type of the first category of the modes of communication. So that is your transmission mode. Second one is a digital data communication. We are having two again categories, that is a parallel data communication and second one is a serial data communication. And under serial data communications we are having a asynchronous transmission and a synchronous transmission. Now we are going to discuss about this all thing in a detail. Now from the previous figure we come to know the second type of mode of communication is based on the data transfer. Now in the digital communication system there are two methods for data transfer. First one is a serial and a parallel. Serial connections have multiple wires running parallel to each other and can transfer data on all the wires simultaneously. Serial on the other hand uses a single wire to transfer the data bit one at a time. So what is the parallel data transmission and the serial data transmission? In parallel data, the parallel ports on a modern computer system is an example of a parallel communication connections. In the parallel port has 8 data wires and a large series of ground wires and a control wires. IDE hard disk connectors are another good examples of a parallel connections in a computer system where we are transferring all data simultaneously. Next one is the serial data transmission. The serial port on the modern computer is a good example of a serial communication. Serial port have a single data wire and the remainder of the wires the remaining of the wires are grounded or the control system. USB is a good example of the serial communication. So here the figure is shown for the serial communication and the parallel communication. In serial communication, this is your first part, or this is the first workstation from where we are transferring the data to the second. So in serial communication the data is transferred byte by byte. So here it is having a 8 number of bytes starting from B1 to B8. So here it is transferring byte one by one, B1, B2, B3, B4, B5, B6, B7, B8. and in the same way we are receiving the data at the receiver. So this is a serial communication. The example is a USB. And second one is a parallel communication. Now in parallel communication, what we are doing, all bytes of data are transferred parallelly to the receiver. The example of parallel communication is the printer connected to your computer. Next one is a transmission timing, that is a synchronization. The asynchronization transmissions are the two different method of transmission synchronization. Synchronous transmission are synchronized by the external clock, while the asynchronous transmissions are synchronized by the special signal along with the transmission media. So this is the last category of the mode of communication, that is a synchronous transmission and a asynchronous. So what is synchronous transmission? In synchronous transmission, the stream of data to be transferred is encoded as a fluctuating voltage on one wire, and the periodic pulse of voltage is put on another wire, often called as a clock or a stroke, that tells the receiver here's where one byte end and the next one begin. So that was shown over here. Here for the beginning and the ending of the data, we are transferring some sort of bits. Synchronous transmission is carried out under the control of a common master clock. No start and stop bits are used. Instead, the bytes are transmitted as a block in a continuous stream of bits. The receiver operates at exactly the same clock frequency as that of a transmission or the transmitter. The grouping of these bits is the responsibility of the receiver. So this one is your transmitter and this one is a receiver. The first thing is the transmitter and receivers are operating at the same clock. There is a synchronization between the clock of transmitter and the receiver. Synchronous transmission advantages: lower overhead and thus greater throughput is the first advantage. Disadvantage: slightly more complex, hardware is more expensive and the higher cost. Next one is the asynchronous transmission. In asynchronous transmission, there is only one wire signal carrying the transmission. The transmitter sends a stream of data and periodically inserts a certain signal element into the stream, which can be seen and distinguished by the receiver as a sync signal. That sync signal might be a signal plus a start bit in the asynchronous start-stop communication, or it may be a more complicated sync word. So here is your transmitter and the receiver. Now here there is no synchronization between the transmitter and the receiver, but when we are transferring a stream of data, along with that data we are sending one start bit and a stop bit. So this is a representation of a synchronous transmission, its advantages and disadvantages. Asynchronous transmission is simple, doesn't require synchronization of both communication sides. Cheap timing is not as critical as for synchronous transmission, therefore hardware can be made cheaper. Setup is very fast, so well suited for applications where the messages are generated at irregular interval. For example, data entry from the keyboard. Disadvantages: large relative overhead, a high proportion of the transmitted bits are unique for control purpose and thus carry no useful information. Then few transmission impairments are present in case of data communication. So what are the transmission impairments? The signal received may be differ from the signal transmitted, so that is called as an impairment, causing analog and the digital. So if you're concentrating upon the analog, in analog there is a degradation of a signal quality, and in digital there is a bit errors. And the most significant impairments are attenuation and the attenuation distortion, delay distortion and the noise. What is attenuation? Where the signal strengths fall off with a distance is called as a attenuation. So it depends upon the medium. Received signal strength must be strong enough to be detected, significantly higher than the noise to receive without the error. So increase strength to overcome that, we are increasing the strength of the signal using amplifiers and the repeaters at a regular interval of a time, is also an increasing function of a frequency. So equalize attenuation across band of frequency used. Next type of impairments is a delay distortion, only occurs in a guided media. So delay distortion is proportional to the is propagating velocity varies with the frequency, hence various frequency component arrive at the different type. So from the transmitter to the receiver, if you're transferring a signal, so the different frequency component, if they arrive at the different time, they will lead to the delay distortion, particularly critical for digital data since part of one bit spill over into the another, causing inter-symbol interference. So as the data occur at the different type, maybe because of that a part of one bit spill over the another, and it will call the inter-symbol interference. And last and the most important is the noise. Noise is the additional signal inserted between transmitter and the receiver. So we are having various types of noise. We are just going to discuss few of them. First type of noise is a thermal noise. It is due to the thermal aggregation of electrons. It is because of the uniformly distributed and most common type of thermal noise is a white noise. Thermal noise is a very common noise present in each and every electronic devices. Second type of noise is the intermodulation noise. The reason for the intermodulation noise is a signal that are the sum and the difference of the original frequency sharing a medium. So because of that, what happening if multiple signals are transferred over the medium, the signals get added together. So at the receiver we are getting the sum and differences of the original frequencies instead of getting the actual signal. So this type of noise is called as an intermodulation noise. Third one is a crosstalk. A signal from one line is picked up by the another is a crosstalk. Next one is an impulse. Impulse is nothing but the irregular pulse or a spike. So this is a harsh noise which is present only for a shorter duration, and it is having a high amplitude. So here I have just represented the data and the signal. So this is the data which we are transferring, data transmitted in the terms of signal. This is the data which we are having. Now if this data is contaminated by the noise, so because of that noise the signal pulse value gets shifted, and at the receiver end the data which is actually transferred at 1 may be transferred by the 0. So this is the effect of the noise on a digital signal. Thank you for listening.